When Jim and Linda Quick run trains on their layout, they're running trains on one of the best detailed layouts we have ever seen. Everywhere you look, from the huge city scene to the long trestles, the farmlands, and even down by the lake, the detail that Jim and Linda have put into this layout is absolutely stunning. This is a real O-Gauge partnership because Jim and Linda built this layout together. Their story is unique.
We met at a car show back in the 90s. I have a 69 Camaro, was my first car, still have it to this day. He has a Corvette, and we got to talking and I asked when his birthday was. Turns out it's the same day as mine. And years later we got married on our birthday, so I know it's a day he will never forget.
It makes life a little easier.
Jim and Linda are not old-timers in this hobby. In fact, they got their first train in 2005.
We ended up in a flea market, seen a little train. It was a S-gauge train that just in a box. Had no track, no transformer, and we brought it home. And I thought, well, we're going to have to get some track and to make this look right around the tree, you know. So I ended up starting hitting the hobby shops, and kind of that was the wrong thing to do because I ended up finding the MTH trains and the remote control stuff, and this is what it's led to.
We had 2 sheets 4x8 plywood. That's the memories we had of a Christmas train and a layout, and we started with 2 sheets of plywood, just flat track, no scenery, and saw these other layouts and what's available today, and we said that just won't do. We have to step it up a notch.
Stepping it up a notch led to a lot of contact with us here at O-Gauge Railroading, and with a lot of new friends met along the way.
Really got me going when I started going out and seeing these things, and of course the fellows over at the other part of your team at the magazine, George and the fellows over there made some phone calls for me so we could go visit some of the layouts that were on those tapes, and we went and seen some of them. Bill Bramlich's, for example, Tony Lash, and of course you has Charles Griffin, the Misty Mountain. And we got to see all that stuff, and we come home just, wow, how do we do this? How does you even start this kind of a thing?
Most people in this hobby have been in it since the 50s. We didn't get in it till we were in our 50s. So this is not, you know, something that we've grown up with. We're learning as we go, and it's an easy and fun hobby to have.
We started this around 2005. I had the time to do it, and it made it easy. And again, I've heard a lot of guys use this hobby as it makes you feel good. You don't think of things other than what you're doing. And believe it or not, that's it. It really is a hobby that can relax you once you get into it. Detail was a lot involved in this, as far as your trees, your grasses, your people, and everything that we've seen on these layouts. Made it look so real. And we run into some people like Scenic Express, Jimmy. He was such a great help to us in getting this started to make the scenery look so real that it was just incredible. He would come and help me do that, and it took off from there. He actually says after he'd come back a few times and seen what we'd done that he'd build a monster. We started doing the buildings first. I mean, the inside of the buildings, to the point if you put the camera up on it, you can look in there and see. Wow, there's people in there, desks, chairs, pictures on the walls, that kind of thing. And we've done one section at a time. Finished a little scene, done another one, and just made a progression with it like that. That every time you made a move, you added something else, and then I'd stand back and look at it. And she'd go, I don't like that building setting next to that. Well, let's try putting, until you get a look that is appealing to both of us. And you just keep on moving, and you find that lighting really does do a lot. So number of bulbs in every building to get that that appearance that you need when you turn it on. The sidewalks and that kind of thing, and then moving out of the city into a business district, your farmlands, that kind of thing. You start putting a tree here, just to look and see if it's something that looks nice. If it's overcrowded, you take one out. You know, and grasses and gravel, dirt, everything that looks real, people, dogs, all those kind of things in a scene. Old cars, rust. I learned to do that detail on these buildings, painting the fronts of them and getting that real look that the buildings deserve. The Ameritown buildings, for example, you know, you can brush those with a paintbrush or spray them either. And once you got into that a little bit, it got easier. Again, there's just so much out there that you can put together to make these layouts look so real. But you have to play with it. And I like to do a scene and leave it there for a day or two, a week, and just walk around and keep moving things. Turn the building a little bit, you know, those type of, set something else next to it, put a driveway in, and the next thing you know, you've got it started again, keep moving. And we find that in doing that type of thing, we work well together, and we don't do a whole lot of arguing. I'll pout, and the lower lip drops down, and it all goes away.
We had no real track plan or design. We kind of worked this 1 foot at a time. What would you like in the next scene? I'll come home and he'll have a whole scene or part of the layout done, and I'll say, wow, that's awesome, you did great, or, you know, I really wanted this here, could you change it? And everything's just worked out great from start to finish, although we're not finished.
Is a model railroad ever finished? Well, probably not. As Jim and Linda continue to build this marvelous layout, they developed a unique ability to see how little things they ran across in daily life could be put to use on the railroad.
You know, I find it like when we go to Packetans or, I don't know, those stores up where you guys are that sell the flowers.
Lobby.
Sell all those flowers and stuff, that some of that stuff is so usable that you'll see in these scenes that we have picked up bags of it that work well. Stuff we see out in the, you know, we have a wooded area next to us here that I go out and trim off tree branches and little twigs and stuff that you can put, make your own trees with. And certain areas you just use a dead tree that looks real well in an area that, wow, that deserved that, you know. So.
We'll pick up a stick in the yard and think we find the best find there is, and other people will look as
Sell
it's
it.
a stick.
Sell it. Get a whole bunch of them.
Your mind works in a different way, and it's relaxing and enjoying. And
she designed some awnings out of egg crates. Cutting it, those little egg crates, the cardboard ones, you cut that in half, and she put them right over top of the windows. Colored them the right colors and designed them, and it fits in so well, you don't really know what it is. You know, little things like that when you stand back and look at it, and then she'll come up and go, look what I did. You know, so, you know, hey, look, that makes you feel good.
As you look around the Quicks layout, the realism of the scenes they have designed is striking. Nothing is too shiny or too bright. Everything looks real. It looks like the real world, which means that everything is weathered.
we've done a lot of traveling, going to see layouts, and Jim Elster said, take pictures, see what the real world looks like. So we've stopped at a lot of, train yards, and we take pictures, and you don't see bright, shiny trains out there. You don't see brand new buildings everywhere. So we take pictures and we bring them back and say, you know what, that would look good, in our farmland. Put a rusty old tractor, or the best advice is go out and look at what really happens, on a railroad or in a farm behind the barn, or just how things grow.
Study the landscape a little bit and just bring it home and look at it and try to duplicate it, and it works. When you start doing the weathering on the buildings and the type of scenery that you're using to make it look real, to get that to blend in there, you don't want a brand new engine going by every single one you own, or all the cars. So you have to start doing, getting that down a little so it doesn't look so real, toyish, if you will. But to have people say anything about, oh, why did you weather that? You ruined it. I don't even think about that anymore. It's so much fun to do. And you make mistakes. Trust me, I made a few that when I go back and look at it or put it next to another car on the track and build the train, you can see that you overdid it. And I'll wipe some of that off of there and start over again until you get it to where it looks nice with the rest of the train, and one car is not just overdone. And it's so easy to do.
Weathering to make things look real is easy to do. There's no precise measuring or cutting. You just start. The more haphazard you are about it, the better it looks. Nothing in the real world is neat, straight, and perfectly clean. And if you do something you don't like, it's easy to fix it.
And you can't make any mistakes that you can't fix, so this layout's been torn down and rebuilt 2 or 3 times as he accumulated more space.
Did you catch what Linda just said?
And you can't make any mistakes that you can't fix.
What a great philosophy. And there's a lesson there for a lot of model railroaders. Don't be afraid to try something new, because if you mess it up, you can always fix it, change it, play with it, and enjoy the time spent working on it until you get it the way you want it. And even if you have a real disaster, there are ways to take that lemon and make lemonade too.
You can't tell by the videos or the magazines the mistakes that happen on layouts. We've had many. We've had fires, we've broken buildings, and actually sometimes if you break a building or break a fence, it looks real, you leave it.
Yeah, there's some trees there that had caught from using a lighter with the extension on it to get the bubbles out of the water that we were working with, and got too close to the tree and bam, it went up. We got it out with some rags. It wasn't dangerous. It could have gotten dangerous, but we turn around and look back, and here we was doing the same thing on some water over here, and the wooden ties over here had caught fire. Behind us, she walked around the corner. You going to let this one burn? We get back in there and put it out, and we kind of just cleaned it up a little bit and left it there, and it looks so real. I mean, you can't get real better than that.
By now, you've probably figured out that Jim and Linda really enjoy making their layout look like the real world. They also enjoy running trains that look real. Wow, that's a whole lot of trains on a whole lot of layout. But you've only seen part of this railroad. Underneath the main level is Linda's world.
We took the level under his where I wanted to show how I feel about country life and how I grew up, and I just like doing it's like a little girl again in a dollhouse decorating. Jim still does the weathering of the buildings, or laying the track. I do all the ballast work, and we're still working together on it, but basically it's my ideas and how I want, if I was sitting and riding a train, that's the type of town I would want to go through.
Jim and Linda's Red Pine River Railroad is a miniature world where everywhere you look, the little details catch your eye. Yet the big picture is impressive too. This huge city scene looks great, with so many details you could spend hours looking at this. The same scene at night is absolutely stunning, with thousands of lights in and around the buildings. The streetlights make Main Street look a mile long. And even when a little whimsy comes into play, like this fellow about to jump off this tall building, the scene still looks real the way Jim and Linda have laid it out. And if that isn't enough, there's a railroad around the ceiling of the train room. This model railroad is truly a labor of love. Building it exposed the Quicks to something that is often overlooked: the social aspect of this hobby.
We've met so many people that are helpful, and we call our extended family now, because when you walk up through York, people say, "Oh, Jim and Linda." And it's nice to have that feeling that people know you.
You meet a lot of people in this hobby if you try to make a layout that is impressive to yourself and other people, that you will meet a lot of people that are so helpful and friendly in the hobby that we have. That's probably some of the good enjoyment of all of this, is the friends you've made.
Running trains, enjoying life, and making friends. What a great hobby.